everybody. Welcome to Art First. What's up, Brian? How are you, man?
Hey, what's up, dude? It's been
I
a
came
it's
in.
been a week of live shows. I
It
feel like
has.
the first 3 days I was a part of Satoshi's Bomb's Damn Web3 Summit, 3 days
Nice.
of panels. Yesterday was Roger's 24-hour transient, and now today. So I feel like this has been my most active week yet. I'm
It's
excited.
it's a good week. Yeah, this is welcome to the 25th hour of art right now. If you're coming off of Rogers, we appreciate you tuning into ours. Roger killed
Yeah,
it.
shout out to
Um,
Roger.
I just tuned into his last hour and he seemed to be holding it together. So more power to him for what he does for the space. Just a big shout out, RD, kicking
Yeah,
ass.
go mint his project if it's. I assume it's still minting.
Yeah, I wasn't in a position to scoop one last year's season, but I got one this time, so I am
Nice.
excited to be even more a part of it. They gave so much to me, so I'm happy to give back to them. But
Heck yeah.
yeah, but
Season
today,
of giving, as they say.
today it is, and today we are giving you our last episode of the year, and we are excited today because so we're switching it up just a tiny bit. We usually interview artists and talk about their process, but today we're going to switch it and we're going to talk to someone who is well embedded in the space. And while not an artist per se, he is an incredible connector and a person who just wants to see see artists thrive and has been putting stuff together. The founder of 8nap Art. Welcome everybody to the show. Jared Paz, hello. Hey.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Very real applause there.
People on phones.
That's like the leftover from Rogers Spaces, but I'll take it.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. You dressed up nice for the show. We appreciate it. I didn't get the memo, but that's okay.
No, dude, nobody in Web3 got the memo for the 3-piece suit, so don't you worry.
No, man. We appreciate you being here. Because like I said, your presence is a little bit different from what we usually do. And we're excited to talk about all the artists that you lift up with 8nap and how that all works. So why don't you give us let's start with high level of what 8nap is, and then why it's kind of important to you that that we're doing this.
Totally. I mean, I was gonna say we've had guests on the past that have given shout outs about you, so there is a connection there, but please explain.
So I was part of a podcast called Collector's Corner. I co-hosted it and I got to know the artist really well. We did long form, really dense stuff, right? And in knowing that, I got to know the artists, and what I loved was like the time before we press record and the time after. I mean, we were on camera before. Like that's kind of the fun, like the banter, get to know you stuff. And I thought there was a need for a platform that is less transactional. Now, to be clear, I don't think all of them are transactional. I think that the ones that are left are usually pretty good, but there appear to be some transactional nature to platforms, right? Release word and then move on.
It's a business.
They have to make money, and there needs to be some kind of revenue stream. But I think you're getting towards it being too extractive for a lot of the places.
Somewhere, right? Like, and I think that a lot bring value. I'm not like I have Alejandro on my weekly spaces because I love fellowship. I think they bring value, and others like obviously Eric and Art Blocks are phenomenal. And my intent was never to compete with Art Blocks or fellowship or fill in the blank. But for my professional career, I wanted to be something that lifted artists up, help them. I always like my professional career is like plateau. You get some catalyst, grow, plateau, grow. So I branded 8nap as an artist accelerator, and the intent is to give artists access to things from everything from professional coaches to marketing strategies, and really work collaboratively on the front end, not just from a curatorial perspective, but from a personal perspective to help them, get lift up and grow their presence in the space. And so I started 8nap Art as an artist accelerator. I'd say we're more on the boutique side. You can go, as you have up on the shared screen. We're not releasing a ton of art, but I like to think that it's quality over quantity. So I've had the honor, honestly, of being able to work with some amazing artists you see on screen. Macbeth and Red Rum and Delta Sauce, Sigma X, Amadon. So, being able to work with them and and pull out some of their best work and ideate through it. It's just been an absolute pleasure. So a balance between the business acumen that I bring from my previous professional life and my curatorial eye, I think is something that differentiates 8NAP from some of the others in the space.
Yeah, I was going through things the other day, and like Bryan said, we've had other artists on the show who've talked about you, all positive things. It's an interesting place to be in terms of the space, right? Because it's not just a platform and it's not just advising. It does feel a little bit deeper than that. Is there, and I believe the answer is yes, but are you also involved in like IRL activations for artists? Like, is that part of the goal to also, or IRL related things? Because I know just coming to mind is Delta Sauce's Issues physical book, which I'm very grateful that I have a copy of myself. But I know that was something that was, worked through 8NAP. So
for sure. So the IRL component, like as much as I love this, I also love IRL because like you get to like know somebody, their mannerisms. It's not just a PFP, but like this space is full of amazing people. So IRL is definitely a component. In Marfa recently, there's the 8NAP Master Series where we are releasing a series of one-of-one partnerships, and those were on display. I had a private dinner and then a community event where we opened it up to everyone and actually gave away in Marfa 125 physicals. Wow. Some of them had digital companions, and what they were was 5 artists with 25 physicals. And it was no cost. It was just like, come stop by, hang out, and enjoy it. It was actually cool because on the stream last night with Roger, he brought up his Sigma X physical. And what we're trying to do is bring in some of these like innovative approaches. And then, as you mentioned, Delta Sauce. So we went to LA. We had a private dinner where we gave it out. So you have the physical book, which is really cool. Is we're trying to bake in like scarcity at different levels. So there's 200, I'll call it soft covers, and then there's 25 hardcover books. Oh, wow. So yeah, the people who came to the dinner each received the hard copy physical. So again, there's not many of them out there. It's not like everybody's like, oh, I got a Delta Sauce hard copy. But my belief is that maybe not today, maybe not next week, but on a long enough timeline, given Delta's success, that it will be a substantial amount of relevance, so to speak. And ironically, I have one because like I'm like enamored with his work, but I think I have the only non-signed one because we're so
oh no, you gotta get that taken care of.
We're so focused on doing something that like I would like, grab mine, put it in my bag, and completely forgot to get it signed. But now it's like it's a one-on-one.
No, but I mean that speaks to how closely you work with the artist, right? Because there's plenty of stories out there like that where someone was a curator for for Warhol. They're like, I don't know, I have all these like old Warhol drawings just like laying around. You're like, right? Oh, okay, because that's just how tight you were with the artist,
Yeah, and so you'll see that there's a continuum of series. Like this is Delta Sauce's. Like every year we're releasing something Marfa themed. That's an addition, so it's accessible to people. So these are like his pieces from previous or the last 2 Marfas. And these sort of things, like, so the one down below was the first one was basically a free mint. The middle one had a little bit of a cost, but like we're giving these things away and trying to encourage people to not only come onto the site, but like start to get really integrated in with it. So I'm experimenting with different release mechanisms. We'll talk a little bit later, but there's a really great, what I would call emerging artist named Mind Mechanic. That if you scroll up, I love, he's on the 3rd row, first one in the 3rd row. He scroll down one more. There we are. And the blue one on the left, on the bottom.
Yep. Yeah. I gotcha.
And so there's a series of, I think it's 8 pieces, 7 pieces. And what we did is we made the first and the last one very accessible, but the ones in the middle all of a sudden became editions of 10, and we sold them as sets. And it became this like whole concept of, I was inspired by The Last Selfie, right? Which is, how do you create accessibility to bring people into the ecosystem of an artist, but then create scarcity around some of these like other pieces where they're editions of 10. You can have the network effect, but there's still some level of exclusivity. And so just playing around with a lot of these different mechanisms and working with an artist to understand like their definition of success. You know, one might be financial, the other is like exposure to bigger collectors and broadening their collector base. So we're really doing a lot of individualized approaches to each release. And so you'll see a lot of different mechanics. And actually, one of my favorite releases this year is with Amadon's release. We had, I think it was 7 editions, and every edition that minted next, it was across 7 days. Each one decreased in size. And the only way to, you know, the allow list for the next piece was predicated on owning the entirety of all the pieces previous. So so there was like this, and they were all the same cost. So it's not like we got to the end and we're like, the edition of 8 was like way more expensive. They were all like crazy accessible. And it was kind of fun because it reminded me of like the gas wars at the end where everybody's like racing to get it. And you're like rooting for some people to get it, and then they don't do it. Like I remember somebody was like, "I'm on the golf course, and my internet sucks," and they weren't able to get the next piece to continue on the journey. But so this was like a really fun mechanic that I hadn't seen with anybody else. And the art and the story is amazing, and we can tell that story. But we're working with artists to create fun mechanics and just creating really fun nuances to the contracts. So I'll stop there because I'm like rambling.
No, that's okay. No, it's wonderful. No. And then we always, inevitably on the show, we get, looking at art, so we get lost in the art and we just stare at the art and realize there's dead air. No, so I think that's a really cool approach, and it kind of answers my next question, which was going to be, how much, what percentage of the pieces that we see from 8-nap are original made for 8-nap, specific versus, I had a piece, laying around and I didn't know what to do with it. It seems like there's a lot of intention behind this, but I don't know.
All of it's original except for Jake Inez's. And I went through his catalog of photography and actually curated a set of 3 pieces. So like, even though it's not original art for 8, it's original art, but not for 8.
Sure.
I went and created a set around, it's called the Red Series because my first son's favorite color is red.
Nice.
And so it's kind of just like an homage to my son, but also we curated a set across 3 different years. So in the metadata, you'll see the actual.
You'll see where it comes from.
Yeah, you start to see like what exactly, like it represents like his style, and like it's evolved across a multitude of years, but yet then there's this like through line of the color red. So just really enjoying integrating all the different arts into the space and pushing people's boundaries, right? Like Red Rum, courageously made a little bit of a departure from his traditional, like this looks more like a traditional piece, but you'll go down, there's like there's landscape, which is like really huge deviation for him. And we so there's, and then there's like, and this was intended to be like, I'm really big into storytelling, and I believe that storytelling survives on a long enough timeline. And even though it's not obvious, once you start to dig into the metadata, the story becomes really, really awesome. So there's obviously like, there's people, there's mythological creatures, there's this is more of like an organic versus animals, and this was really about like a story of life. And so there's 7 chapters, and each chapter is about the evolution from start to finish of his journey as an artist. And that kind of like storytelling is something that I absolutely love. And again, as Red Rum gets studied more, I think it'll showcase as something like, I love this piece. It's like essentially Red Rum, but yet different than anything he had up to that point. So
yeah, totally.
Really enamored with it.
That's cool. And just going back, I had such a great time at your Marfa pop-up. I was thankful to get one of the prints. I got to get a piece by Phrase, which was a physical that also came paired with an NFT. Yep. And I got to sit and chat with him on a couch at your pad. And it was one of the best experiences of the whole trip because it was very relaxed and chill. And I got to talk to artists kind of one-on-one. It was a great space. I just want to give you a shout out for putting together something really wonderful.
Thank you. And in that, like, that to me is the embodiment of 8NAP and what our intent is. I like to say we're in the business of arranged engagements, not arranged marriages. And what I mean by that is like you get the right people in the right room, and I just really think that great things happen. I'm really really an advocate of that, and it's meaningful to hear that from you. So thank you for sharing, because it's what we really strive for. We put a lot of time and attention, and shout out to Stephen Miller, because he curated
Yeah, huge
the
shout out.
Marfa set, and it's just he planted
Definitely.
a seed with me that's like inspired so much additional additional thought and inspiration. So I'm beyond grateful for his help with that.
That's awesome. So I heard something on RD's show last night, but I don't know if I should say it. Well, I guess you said it publicly.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going, but you can share it.
It's exciting. So, you alluded to something later this year with a friend of the show and pretty amazing artist and a museum. I don't know how much of that you want to, talk about, but that was pretty exciting to hear.
Yeah, so I've been working over the last year with a museum that is not currently in the Web3 space, and so we're going to have a release in the later part of 2026, and it's going to, I won't share the theme quite yet, but it's really it stemmed from my inspiration. I always say my name or my age, but I'm 43, and when I was about 10-ish, I visited a museum and was really inspired by Jackson Pollock, and it was beautiful. I still like Jackson Pollock, still to this day is my favorite artist, and non-Web3. I'll say non-Web3 artist, and I just remember looking at it and being so enamored with the size, the scale, the beauty, but then asking why. I was like, why is splatter paint important? Like, I could do this. It's so much even so that like in my fraternity in college, like I literally splatter painted the room, because you're allowed to do like whatever the hell you want to. And I was so inspired by it, like still, and like it stayed with me. And so the museum participation is something that I'm enamored with, because I think that it's not just about the accolades of today. It's about planting the seeds for the next generation and decades to come. And so it was really important for me to work with somebody or an institution that would expand the breadth and the breadth of what we're doing, and then get more eyes on it that are not just exclusive. And it's outside of the US, but still in North America. So it's like, it's easily to commute to, but at the same time, it's expanding and kind of outside of just our, by the way, I love that piece by Corey Haber. It's stunning.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. And being able to like expand the eyes on our space, but also inspire some others who, one of the things I've really enjoyed is like being based out of the US. Like 1 ETH is a lot of money, and then so we have the luxury in the US of being a little bit more stable, and being at the forefront of monetary policy and stuff. That I feel very blessed to be here, and I realize that 1 ETH, $3,000 in other parts of the US could be life-changing, or at least it like secures a lot of salary. So working with non-US institutions and being able to create opportunity, not only across our space, but we're also going to do some local outreach and bring people into blockchain art, is important to me, because the impacts there are going to be immeasurable, for lack of better terms.
I think that's really awesome. I think that there's, as a kid, I'm fortunate that my folks took me to museums as well, and the sense of wonder and awe at seeing art in person, whether it's large or small, there's an impact there that was undeniable, at least in my childhood. Like seeing paintings that I had seen in books, and then you get to see them in real life, and really like I like to take the approach of looking from a distance, but I love getting up close and seeing like you can feel the artist hand in the work. Seeing a Dali that was no bigger than like a postcard that I assumed was just huge. I've seen Pollock's, all of that. It really has an impact, and I think, at least from a creative life, it feeds a fire You know, so
And,
to bring more of this into that world, I think is important.
and I think for me, like, so I always tell people, not that it matters, but like I've taken on 0 investors. I have 0 VC money. This is like pure 8NAP is purely me. So I get to do whatever I want to. It's my passion. It's what I plan. I have 3 boys. I hope one of them is inspired by art as much as I am to take it over. But this is a 20-year plus journey and legacy for me. It's not a cash grab. I'm pulling 0 salary. And again, all that matters because I'm putting everything back into it. And I get to experiment the way I want to. I get to create what I want to. So what you'll see across here is a lot of different approaches to releases. Like with what you have up on screen right now, Delta Sauce, we put a tail of 90 pieces that would go to individual auctions in a blind reveal. And this has been an awesome really thing, because my big thing is like I want to bring more primary to the artist. They deserve it, right? And so what's happening is we're seeing about the initial bid is 0.1, but some of them have gone for as high as 0.3, 0.4, even more based on like what it is, whether it's rare or beautiful or whatever. So on average, he's gotten about a 50 to 70%, I forget what the calculation is now, return, or in addition to the 0.1. So we're getting ways to get more primary to the artists.
Cool.
And that's like a cool passion of mine, is like, you did this art, let's let it percolate. Let's draw out the time scale. So you're not just a flash in the pan and then it falls victim to getting lost on the timeline. Let's stay. And it's one of those attention mechanisms that we're working with. And not every single release has done it. Red Rum and a couple others and Delta have. And that's kind of where we're going at, is like, we want to custom curate for the needs of the artist and really lean into their strengths, but also their desires for how to grow within the space. So
I've been fascinated by the rollout for issues, because for a long time I wasn't sure how it worked. I hadn't dug into the mechanics, but the fact that he consistently throughout the year has been finding those moments where it connects with a collector who puts a bid in, and then all of a sudden it's like, oop, this new issue's just dropped, and it's not super consistent as to when it's going to happen, but it's such a bright moment, and you're like, ooh, a new issues is out, and you can only find that because knowing in the back of my head, I'm like, that's cool that somebody kicked that off, somebody started that, and I see here there's only 19 left. That's amazing.
And it's very on brand, right? Like a periodical would come out once a month, once a week. And so the fact that these are being released, and then you get to dive into the story behind each of them. Again, it was very intentional to have this slow roll and to have this ability to tell the story behind every piece. Because the more I was working with Delta, I was like, yo, there is so much meaning behind all of these pieces. Like, we need to find a way to share those stories, because Delta approaches his work with so much passion and so much intention. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And I was like, dude, you need to have more of this, right? Like, you need to like share this story because people will connect with it. And the cool thing is there's not a lot of secondary action on this, because like all of the issues find the home that they want to, right? And there has been turnover, and people have weaved it like in a 500 piece collection. It's naive to think that like nothing will trade hands. But the reality is like, and there's like a syndicate. So like you'll see there's like Triism, MOTD. Each one has like a different theme. And what ended up happening is people are collecting a syndicate set. And so we put all this stuff into the metadata to entice people to dig deeper into to everything. And then we created what I call is like the natural Achilles heel. So there's this thing called Memetics, is the rare syndicate. And so there will only ever be I think there's like 17 or 19 of these 19 possible sets, right? And figuring out that way to engage collectors a little bit more has been like just really, really, if you can't tell by my heightened level of enthusiasm, like working with the artists and figuring out how to create stickiness around collections has been really fun.
Yeah, it shows, man. It definitely shows. There's a lot of intention here. How do you, for artists out there, how do you go about finding artists or finding people who are a good fit for 8NAP?
So I always say, send me a DM. There's no application process. It's purely, like I said, right now it's me, and I know that's not scalable. but send me a DM. My DMs are open. We'll look at the work. And partly, what I like to do is just do this. I'll have a call with the artist, see if we jive, see if we have similar philosophies, if we want to approach the work and the release, at the same intention. And then I usually try to book stuff for 6 to 12 months out, because for me, I want to spend the time curating. Like Red Rum and I, we're on the phone every week for 8 months curating Metamorphosis. Hey, let's do this. Let's pull at this thread. Let's tweak that. Because the part of the artist connection is important to me, because if I sit on a spaces like this, you can see my enthusiasm for Delta and Corey and all the other artists that we've worked with. I want that enthusiasm and the passion to show through, and not just be like, there's another release, come buy my art. I want it to be a friendship at the end of the day. And I really do look at each artist as a good friend at this point.
That's amazing. Really awesome. And thank you for introducing everybody else, who might not know about this to this, and also for doing it, right? Like, I remember talking to Delta, he told me everything you're telling me, he's told me on the side, like, yeah, Jared, just like, he puts in his own money, his own time, he believes in this, and he's like, and that's why he was happy to work with you. So I think it shows, and I'm excited to see where it goes from there, especially with museums and bigger targets like that. And I think it's great that you're in the space doing this, man. Thank you.
No, thank you, and thank you for giving me the space to share the passion. I think that this is, as Bryan opened up with, like, this week has been absolutely crazy with year-end shows. I was able to speak on the Damn Show and Roger's 24-hour show myself, and I don't know, man. I'm approaching this space with passion, and I really feel like the people who are left are ungodly enthusiastic and optimistic about where we're going.
Unhealthy.
I think if we weren't, we wouldn't be here.
Off camera, I was like, I'm not smart enough to tell you if it's next year or 10 years from now, but I definitely do think that the space is vibrant, and there's a core group of really, really amazing artists, builders, and collectors.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Speaking of other artists in the space, what do you think we do a little show and tell and see some more art? All right, here we go. Let's run it. Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes.
I didn't change the settings yet, Bryan. I'm still working.
It's okay. Hey,
I'll get there.
There's always next year.
I'll get there. There is always next year. It's just around the corner. Okay, so if you guys can hear me, this is the part of the show. I really enjoy this a lot. It's one of my favorite parts, is that we each have collected or found art from artists that we think need a bigger spotlight, or are just doing some really cool stuff that need recognition in the moment. And so each of us has 3 pieces. Actually, I think Jared has 4. And we're going to just go through and chat about it. Afterwards, we're going to put links up to all the artists that we talk about on our Art First Twitter account, so people can connect, and check them out. So, Jared, we are going to start here with you and this incredible piece.
Brilliant.
Oh, wow.
So Andreas Yalu is an AI artist who focuses primarily on black and white, an amazing fellowship artist. You can see this one is owned by Blackbird, who's an amazing collector and artist himself, just with an incredible eye. But I've just become obsessed with Andrea's work. In all honesty, I have, he did a free mint through Tribute Labs and Flamingo that is called AM. And I just love how his diffusion model has been able to blend things, outside of Jackson Pollock. My first love for photography was Ansel Adams. And there's some stories there that I won't waste everybody's time with, but the black and white has a special place in my heart, in Andrea's execution on black and white photography and his use of light. I mean, look at that. Like, there's a wheel missing, or half there. It's so brilliantly present, but also brilliantly AI.
It doesn't shy away from what it is.
Yeah.
It's not pretending.
That blend
is purposely chaotic.
Yeah. So I love Andrea. I love his work. AM is like reasonably priced. Also, I think you can get in around 0.05 ETH. And this, just his use of light and dark and usually figures is extremely powerful. And for that, I've just become obsessed with
Yeah.
Andrea and his work.
That's really cool. I remember seeing this in the past, but it's so striking that it catches you immediately.
It's the composition.
Yeah, it's like a photography fidenza.
Yeah, this one especially. I like that.
Yeah. I when I first saw it, I didn't know that it was AI initially, and I thought it was just a photo with with overdrawing, and I wasn't totally sure. And then I dug into the work and see it's AI, but it's such a unique approach to this. I guess what people are maybe calling post photography or whatnot. But it's gorgeous work.
Yeah, and it's just his eye for balance and accentuating the right pieces of light it's exceptional. I really adore his work.
Very cool. Very nice. All right, Brian, I'm gonna do something here. Show your next piece is I couldn't get it. There's a couple today. I couldn't get working on my machine, but that's okay. I took some screenshots.
They're just too futuristic to run.
They're too cool.
They're ahead of their time.
I mean, some of this stuff kind of is.
Yeah. So, part of this end of the AB 500, there's been 3 really cool drops by Jeff Snowfro, and then this one by DCA, which I thought this was the most. I thought each of them were very interesting and well done, but this one really struck me as being cool because he basically mint an empty shelf, and then he created a whole Zelda-ish game where you go and dig up rocks, and then you decide which rocks you want to place on your shelf, and you curate your shelf of stuff that you dig up. And then using post parameters, it kind of updates the code, and you have this kind of ever-changing display of rocks that you dig up. And it's just there's so much going on with that idea itself, and it's really well executed where you can go dig it up yourself, or you can let it go and play on auto mode and go dig for you. And seeing how different people decorate their shelves, similar to how Snowfro's piece lets you kind of draw your own art. This one allows the collector to be a little bit of an artist and curator themselves. I just thought it was really great.
That's really cool. I didn't fully understand the project until just now, which is why it explains that when I went looking on OpenSea, there's also a bunch of empty shelves, I guess.
Yeah, you have to kind of click on it and then press like a space bar or something, and then it loads up the actual video game itself, and then you can copy and paste the string of your shelf into the post parameters on the art block sites. It's involved, but it's rewarding for people that go through the process.
It sounds like my computer would start smoking, but it sounds really cool.
Did you make a shelf, Jared?
So I have one. I haven't gone in and actually dug up the rocks yet for a variety of personal reasons during the holidays. I've just been slammed with family activities. But this is so by the way, DCA is one of the kindest, nicest, and most brilliant people in this space. Like, I appreciate you highlighting DCA's work because he's always so thoughtful with his work. And this is just, again, the Calderon bros pushing the boundaries of art blocks and stuff I completely agree with this. I am functioning with a ton of empty purple shelves at this time, but I'm looking forward after the holidays, picking up the space bar and going digging for some rocks.
It was cool seeing mine, I just kind of picked a bunch of rocks and threw them on the shelves and what fits size-wise. But it was cool seeing some people like go monochromatic and only finding rocks that are certain schemes and like really hyper curating their shelves in different ways. It says a lot about the collector.
The collector and the collection. I think like something that has like this infinite scalability and like engagement rules again, I'm obsessed with how this scales long-term. And being able to go on OpenSea and pick up an empty shelf and like reiterate it. So you have like a monochrome one, you have a colorful one. Like there's a lot of unique approaches to it that, again, so dynamic in thought.
Very cool. Very nice.
But also processor heavy.
Mm-hmm. just a tad. And I got a pretty good machine.
Those graphics cards and RAMs are only going to get harder to get soon. So stock up.
get them now so you can check out your shelves, man. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna show for this piece here. This is oh wow, it went okay. I thought it was gonna go like that. Conversations with Myself by Luca Pensato. This is actually an art trade that I did with him the other day. Conversations with Myself for one of my conversation starters, and I genuinely could not be happier to have this in my collection. He has been putting out work in this this fire driven series that is it's AI, it's reflective, it's thoughtful in terms of in terms of its you know, visceral imagery that's so evocative, but I connect with all of it. Each time he puts a piece out, it's just he just keeps hitting, and they're gorgeous pieces, and I love all the textures. So yeah, this one hit, and I was happy to make that trade.
Seeing it for the first time, it's crazy powerful. It's gorgeous,
right?
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, like I see his work, and it does really well on Twitter. But you know, he's still just like getting out there in terms of like, you know, finding his footing with collectors. At some point, someone's gonna wake up. Like the work is just phenomenal. So I'm excited to just be a part of that and have that piece in my collection.
Yeah, I love that the trade was a dual conversation piece.
It was a nice
conversation trade.
It was.
It's great.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep it moving. Here we go, Jared. This is from one fiery piece to another.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is DXL. It's a piece from my personal collection. This is an incredible artist who's put together a series of very like emotionally invoked. So this one's like, I don't know, like I actually have I share I have a personally curated and commissioned set of one-of-ones for my wife. She doesn't know about it yet, but it also is predicated around an angel, and it's from lyrics from a song, and just because I love it. And so when I saw this, like the kind of the balance between good and evil, a lot of the, you know, the phrases that were there, like even hope crossed out. DXL is a powerful artist who usually plays around with like I'll call it darker type of emotions when you scroll through his collection. And this one was something that just stood out to me because it was, like you said, the textures are great, the color, the composition. It just really, really resonated with me. And shout out to Delta Sauce, because I think sometimes, you know, you two especially, some of the best collectors in our space right now are actually artists. And I asked, you know, Delta, who's an artist, because he was early to Mendez, he was early to AKC, and a few others that were just really and Manic that started to take off. So I was like, who's somebody that I should be knowing that I don't know that's in your collection? And he pointed out DXL. And when I started scrolling through the collection, just serendipitously, this one was coming up for auction on Super Rare. And so I had to have it. And so therefore, you know, it's now resides in my collection. We're having an open conversation about his art and what he's doing, but you know, definitely go on Super Rare, look up DXL, just really, really dynamic art and an amazing set of work that's currently in here. And you can kind of start to see like a little bit of a departure from like, it's just phenomenal work, and it's emotionally charged in a way that I just connected with on a deeper level.
No,
awesome.
They're pretty
Great
awesome.
find.
Really. And I think you touched on something important. And I know Bryan, we've said it before, Bryan says it all the time. If you want to look, you know, and find some really cool new artists, just follow your favorite artists and see who they collect.
Yeah. I won't say who, but there's a couple artists that I stalk their wallets knowing full well like that they have a phenomenal eye, and it's like, oh, okay, I wonder why we're looking at this piece, or why is that piece?
Yeah.
And I'll dig deeper.
I love that. And you know, for people who can't collect, I know there's you know, people are always sharing, right? So like I look for who's sharing what, you know.
Yep.
Very cool. All right, Bryan, we're going to go to the next piece. This piece did work. I was able to to tell the machine to not, so G meme proof of presence.
Yes, this is Paradigm Stories. This was actually an airdropped companion. He made a still version of this, which I think is done with like pencil or Bic pen. Really crazy artwork. And then he figured out how to animate it with AI, and it's very goofy and like kind of haunting in this way.
Oh, yeah.
But I just thought, some pieces just exude effort, and that illustration he made for the meme card was insane. And it's also just really cool to see him like build upon that piece and airdrop these additional kind of variants of it to collectors.
Wow. This is pretty wild, man. There's something that it's disturbing but really fun. Like the way that this moves is really interesting. No, I like that there's action in it too, and it's not just like moving pieces. Like it's there's
the little,
blinks in there.
The casino frog on the right with the Sam Spratt monkey.
Uh-huh.
He threw so many references into that original illustration. I'm glad that he got more leverage out of the piece.
Yeah.
So shout out Paradigm Stories.
Very
I
cool.
love pieces that the more you look at them, the more like little Easter eggs you find, and every time it cycles through this, I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah. There's the Sam Spratt stuff.
There's even like an ACK skull at the bottom right.
Yeah, you got the blue
piano skull.
You got 6529's Punk up at the top.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what this is going on here, but this is pretty wild.
ET fingers.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool, man. All right. I'm gonna keep going around the room here. Okay. This piece is pretty cool. I really liked it. This is by a couple of friends of the show, Parin Hedari and Jenny Pasayan, and they worked together. Jenny put together this Advent calendar type of collection where it was a different artist every I think it was every day, or a handful of artists, and she would have them make something, and then she would do her part to collaborate. And I thought this one was really awesome. It just stopped the scroll, and I was like, yeah, well, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to grab that, and they're all very affordable. And so I just want to give shout out to them for what they're doing here, and this piece was really, really awesome.
Yeah, Jenny crushed it with this collection. There's so many cool ones, and every day it's like, oh man, another collab with someone I love.
Yeah, I know, and this is the first piece from Jenny that I have in my collection. So I was like, yeah, I'll that plus I get to support another friend, like two friends in one.
Yeah,
it was a no-brainer.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I really love it.
Good coloring on it too.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It's also outside of Jenny's kind of normal style too.
Right, and I think that's that's Parin coming in with with the way that she set it up. But then you also have like those eyes are very much Jenny,
true,
Jenny style, but then you got Parin did that's like a lot of her color in there too, and then obviously the animated squiggling on top. It feels like it was like layer on layer on layer. So I don't know.
Yeah. Very cool.
Really, really fun when I get to see a collaboration, especially from friends. All right, let's keep it going. We have a couple more to go here. This piece is ridiculous. Owned by shout out Bat Soup, owning this one from Macbeth.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh
epic.
My goodness.
It's a little bit of a shameless plug because this is an 8-nap release and it's still open for minting.
That's
but
okay.
I wanted to highlight it because I think it's a little bit fell victim to like just a really shit market. But overall, Macbeth, I wanted to highlight because he had some really viral stuff like go on Instagram, and then he's released with some amazing work recently on Super Rare in partnership with Jono and the collabs and curation he's doing. But this is something that I just fell in love with, this overall collection. It's called Surreal Sky, and it's inspired a lot by actually there's a really cool interview that 8nap did where we always try to like get the story behind it. And he goes into about an hour-long discussion with Phrase, ironically, because his name came up earlier. And it's like artists aren't art. And what we try to do is like have the artists interview artists to pull out like kind of like what you guys are doing, like the details that, sometimes collectors don't see or haven't paid attention to. And the level on detail on this one is amazing. The coloration on the entire collection is amazing. And we go, he's exploring a lot of like mythology is the core of it. So you'll see some mythology from like some of his like religious upbringing all the way to like traditional Greek mythology, Aztec mythology, Japanese mythology. So the collection itself is just ripe with like amazing graphics, and the level of detail on every single piece is just mind-blowingly good. So it is in a blind mint phase, 0.07 ETH. If you do have anything in there, like feel free to hop on 8nap.art and click into it to mint something. But more than that, like Macbeth is just somebody who, he's starting to get a lot of traction, and I'm starting to see a lot of collectors like really drawn to his work, and for good reason. He's an amazing person, produces amazing art, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know him on a personal level, and I just can't say enough good things about him as a person and the art that he's creating. It's really epic. There's some of the pieces in here are just mind-blowingly good. Everything's amazing, but like there's pieces where I just like stop in my tracks because I'm like, fuck, this is too good, man.
It reminds me of as a kid, I was there was a comic book series that I was enamored with because of the details, called Big Guy. Big Guy is a big robot guy, giant robot fighting cities. I'll see if I can pull it up. But the level of detail is reminiscent of that. It's like and obviously, it's a little different in how it was created, but like I used to pore over these details where it must have taken just months to draw a frame of these comics.
And Macbeth has like this zoom in series where he would zoom in on some of the details of these, but this is like one of those pieces that would do really, really well on bigger screens because they just composition are amazing, but then you zoom in and it's like mind-blowingly good.
Yeah. No,
so Macbeth is just he's doing AI at a scale and at a level that I really admire, and I think that he doesn't have one distinct style. He's playing around with others, and it's again, this one started as a collection of about 10,000 pieces, and we had to narrow it all the way down to 100. So
wow,
it was, we got like one of my things in life is like, if it's not a hell yeah, then it's a hell no. So we started just like kind of going through, and it's like, hey, these are appealing, and then it got to a point where I was just like, dude, we need all the hell yeah pieces, and like we had to even cut some of those out for the final version. But I think this is just an exceptional collection.
I'm blown away by that. Yep, I'm gonna throw it on here. Here we go. It's good stuff. Dude, very cool. All right, Bryan, are you next? I think you're next.
I think so.
So to make this one work, we're going to try something a little bit funky here. I'm going to go here to this nice holiday Google page. And then I'm going to put this piece up like that.
All right.
I'm not sure how else to do it.
So this was a piece by Jiwa, who's an awesome generative artist and a wonderful, nice guy. And I think he was Art Block's resident. He had a stand at Marfa where you could sit down and he would draw a portrait of you. And he basically created software that took the lines he drew as this portrait and turned it into this generative animated code. And so this was his drawing he did live in Marfa, which is now live code, which just looks wild and very much in Jiwa's style. But I loved that activation and just the experience of having a one-on-one sit down with an artist and chatting for a little bit while they draw you. Very cool, very inspiring.
It's really cool. I wasn't able to get it. I saw it on my phone. I think I got it to work, but it's really cool. And I saw some of the photos from the event where you sat down with him, and to see that's a really interesting way to do something like this, where you get to have the participant be a part of the art themselves. It kind of reminds me a little bit of what Pindar did years back. Where he did something similar in terms of like being able to do generative with your portraits. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
He was, I think, one of the most underrated artists right now. I mean, just such again, another great person. I've had the pleasure of speaking with him at the last couple Marfas, but really, really dope approach here, and just like really amazing artist, the way he's able to bend code.
It feels like recently he's starting to get some of that more recognition, between the release with Heft and doing this down in Marfa. So hopefully,
And I like the way this one rolled out specifically, because it's it's personalized. So you're not going to see a lot of flipping, and that means that like people are really emotionally connected to it, and they're going to champion it or showcase it on X and the timeline. It was always fun to see the timeline as these rolled out, seeing Jiwa pop up, because people were like emotionally connected to their pieces. And I thought that was a really brilliant way to roll this thing out.
Yeah. Very nice. This is good stuff for sure. Oh, it goes behind it. Look at that, Brian. Look at us learning in real time. Okay.
Look at that.
Well, just let the record show that good stuff was thrown today. Okay. All right. We have a couple more to go, and then we are out. But let's see. There's this piece here that I collected from Scott Commoners, Fibonacci Harvest. Which was done for charity. Especially it was done when SNAP benefits were going away, and things were about to get incredibly hard for a lot of people. So Scott was just trying to find a way to help out, and this was an easy pickup for me. But also Scott's work is really it's above my head. And he'll be the first to tell you, no, don't worry, you can solve puzzles, you can do this even if you don't think you can. But I wanted to support. Love Scott. This is great. And also, I believe every time one is minted, it adds to the overall piece, which is really pretty awesome. And these are going for charity. So
shout out to one of the best human beings in the space. I know it sounds like
he's
a common
so good,
thing, and I'm telling everybody like they're great. He's an amazing collector, amazing artist. He's just a brain that is so big for our space. Like, I don't know.
We're lucky to have him, man.
Yeah. Just an all around amazing guy. I have a number of pieces from his collection, some that got airdropped for Father's Day. He's so thoughtful and intentional. And then I bought the pie ones, where they're the identities, and he did it for my squiggle. So 100% Scott's just killing it on the approach, and really love his work. It's amazing.
Yeah. Could not agree more. Oh man. Okay. Let's do it. We got one more left. We're gonna throw one more in. Here we go.
I'll motor quickly through this one.
That's okay. Let's give them their due. It's all good.
It's an artist that I think has some presence, but I mentioned it on Roger's 24 hours last night. This is a wallet that I've just become obsessed with. But Strata is, again, it's post photography, but Alcon, and I can't pronounce his last name. He goes by his handle on X is Evergreen Dazed. Just somebody who's really came up through the film industry, has brought that to the art, is really leaned into AI. In this collection, try to give a little bit of love on a different chain, but Solana, for one soul right now on the floor, really accessible. And he has pieces right now selling in a very similar aesthetic at Heft for $18,000. Now, I'm not saying these should be 18,000. It's a 1,000-piece collection, and it's not a collab like the Heft pieces are. But absolutely love this collection. There's some really dynamic pieces. There's the best amount of variety. I mean, and he's a good person, but he just had like the first fully AI generated film go into a film festival. He's at the forefront of AI, and he's got an eye that I think is exceptional. So wanted to highlight Strata because, again, for one soul, 120, 150 bucks these days, to get art that's absolutely stunning. As long as you don't mind collecting on a separate chain and accepting that risk, this is something that I'm enamored with, and Alcon's work is always exceptional. So these are, I'm drawn into him every single time. I've scrolled this collection numerous times.
Great shout out.
Yeah, it's really awesome, man. Well, I appreciate the bringing new art. Like, there's a few of these I was very much not aware of, which means that other people aren't aware, and the more we can get eyes on them, the better.
Yeah.
This is so very, very awesome. Before we head out, gonna throw it to you. See if there's anything else that you want to plug or talk about or upcoming got going on.
So I'll be brief because if you've made it this far, one, thank you for listening to us to chat art. But two, on January 20th, we will have a release with Sigma X, and it's going to be a release dynamic that I'm confident hasn't been deployed in this space. Again, part of our continuing to innovate and create fun engagements around the minting experience. So January 20th, Sigma X, a really, really fun collection that I think a lot of people can connect to. And then in February, we haven't set up a date, but Ren AI is another amazing AI artist. We'll have a collection releasing. And then my hope is in Marchish, we'll have the next release in the 8NAP Master Series. I don't know if I can't say it publicly, but two individuals are going to curate five pieces that are really, really exciting. So that's going to be the next release. And then we'll get into all the museum releases with I'm targeting August, a big opening in August at the museum. Everyone will be invited to participate, and we're going to have a lot of physical spaces that are intended to engage the public and be something that gets people excited. So, our 2026 is fully baked at this point, and I'm just super excited for what 2026 brings. But more than that, just thank you so much for allowing me the space to share this. I will say, if you haven't followed, I'd love a follow in 8nap_art for the platform for all the official releases and updates. If you can give 8nap art a follow, that's where we'll be sharing a lot of these announcements. Random thing.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with collectibles. My kids are into Pokemon. I collected rocks, coins, baseball cards, and all that stuff as a little kid. But on the 8nap art site, there's something called the 8nap art card. The mint is only roughly about the equivalent of 20 USD at this point, $20. And there's no solid commitment, but it's that second one in the middle right there. No promise for future utility, but I'm obsessed with set collecting, and more than likely, collecting those will help unlock a lot of things in the future. So it's another way to support artists and showcase it. But again, a low entry way to participate and lock in some stuff. So
it's great to hear because I minted one during the show.
That's even better.
Also, shout out to Bowling Meow, who tweeted out that he was watching, he tuned in, and he minted one of the Rich Pool pieces because he saw you talking about it. So,
interesting.
Amazing. Is that just 0.006 for Mint Pass?
Yep. Or it's not the Mint Pass, but the 8nap art card. So
okay.
Honestly, I've been inspired by the every 30 days that Derek and the Glitch team had created, and I thought that there was something really beautiful around honoring artists, each of the releases, and then bringing utility to the to the collector base in the future. So again, that's my inspiration. It will be something unique to 8nap art, but community is my number one obsession for 2026. I think we have a brilliant opportunity. I mean, even what you did with your 100-piece collection, the release, Bryan, it's there's something that's untapped potential. I really think that this is the proverbial ball being held underwater in the pool, and in my opinion, the hand has been taken off, and it's about to go bananas, and finding ways to honor and exemplify collectors is like absolutely paramount for me. Bring more value than you extract is like my number one ethos in this space.
It's the most important thing.
It really is. Very cool. Bryan, before we go, do you have any closing thoughts before I wrap it up?
Well, I'm excited for the year ahead, Jared. What you're doing is extremely important. And also just shout out to everyone that tuned in this year. We made it through over 50 episodes. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday break, gets to see family and friends, and gets a little bit of a relax. But yeah, it's great. It's great to spend time with you guys.
It was wonderful. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everybody tuning in. This was awesome. Like Brian, like you said, we hit our 50th episode. We're beyond 50 now, and we'll be. This is our last show. We'll be back next year in January. We got a couple of guests, lined up. I'm excited for it, but we need to take a little break, touch some grass, touch some snow, and whatnot, and we'll be back in the new year. But until then, I want to thank everybody, keep creating, keep making stuff. And when you're thinking about art, think about art first. All right. Okay. Take care, everybody. And we will catch you next year.
Thank you so much.
Is that a new catchphrase?
I think it is. I think it might be. We're working on it, Brian. 2025. We'll figure it out. 2026.